My name is Garrett on Twitter, YOOGRRTT. Thank you so much for tuning into the Now Notation YouTube channel. Welcome back to another album review. Today we are talking about Goldlink, and I was trying to figure this out. I've had a few videos where I've reacted to Goldlink, but I don't think I've ever reviewed a Goldlink album on this channel. And yeah, so this is kind of interesting, and I guess also to kind of throw that back. Previous titles that he's released, after that we didn't talk. Mixtape, At What Cost from 2017. I always looked at that as his debut album, but this is now being stated. This album, Diaspora, is now his debut album, and I guess the At What Cost was technically a breakout mixtape, and I didn't know that, so that was something that I learned. And I hope you learned something today too as well. But Goldlink is somebody who is so goddamn good, so goddamn just fresh, and it's kind of weird when you look at that 2015, 2014 era of SoundCloud. It's before everybody got super like in your face with different theatrics to kind of blow up other aspects, aka the music, whether it's crazy colored hair, crazy face tattoos, but like Goldlink definitely blew up on SoundCloud and was one of those guys who was really good at putting out like just the craziest raps over like the coolest EDM kind of style beats, but also going over like his fresh takes on older style beats, and like just the way that he broke out and just kind of hit everybody in the face and was like featured on XXL Freshman List as well. And then you get into that 2015 era where you actually get a release from, which is, and after that we didn't talk, and that's literally kind of just this concept mixtape about just like breaking up with somebody and going through that anguish and dealing with like the separation of that, and like, I don't know. It was a really well done mixtape. I actually saw him live on that tour, and that's where I actually picked up that vinyl. So if you've seen my vinyl collection, you'll hear me talk about it at the end. How I do not have it because an ex-girlfriend has it, which is just the most fucking ironic ass shit for that album in particular. But going forward, At What Cost, I enjoyed it, but it was just above my listening standards sometimes, where like it was so goddamn good and so goddamn polished, but it wasn't really, besides the crew and a few other tracks, like it wasn't something that I was catching myself going back to or even really listening to multiple times. It was just so good, but it didn't feel like it was really talking to me in particular. And with this album, with new Goldlink music, I've always wanted him to kind of go back to that older style of more bombastic beats and just him kind of rapping, because when he actually starts flowing, it's literally just like liquid, and it just keeps going. Like no matter what direction he's going in, like it just easily just keeps going to get to that point, but so goddamn smart the way that he maneuvers beats, but also like isn't afraid to like not switch up his flow, because he like understands that like the monotone delivery that he always like employs in a lot of his like rapidy rap verses, he knows that can just carry it and like almost benefits more. It's kind of like I don't know, like I think that liquid analogy is as good as it gets. Like literally, dude, this guy flows and it's legit flow. Like it just goes and you just let it go, and you can't really critique it in any weird way or direct way, in my opinion, because he's just that goddamn good and has always been that goddamn good. Features on this album, there's quite a few. You have Ari Penn Smith, Bibi Borelli, Jackson Wang, Jay Prince, Khalid, Lil Nye, Malik Berry, Pusha T, Tyler the Creator, Wavell, Q, Wizkid, and Western. And also like the sound on this album is very much like heavily emphasizing like African sounds, as well as just a lot of like different a collection of like just cool ass instruments, and just even there's like this cool Caribbean style and flair on a lot of these tracks too, and we'll get into the track list right now. And when you look up the word diaspora, that's actually means like separation from, so, or like, yeah, I believe it's like separation from, so that's kind of him just really emphasizing his African ties and like bringing the music back to kind of that style. And we definitely got a glimpse of that on At What Cost. So it's not a complete out of left field, but this is where this album gets fucking good. And I'm just gonna straight up tell you right now, this album is phenomenal. It's a fucking goddamn work of art. I just want to show off some of the cool alternate covers. I think some of these are single covers, but yeah, some of the coolest covers, just period. I wish I could have all of these on something, but definitely looking to pick up the vinyl on this guy. And if I could get my fucking other one back, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Track number 1 though is / Error. Track number 2 is Joke Ting featuring Ari Penn Smith. Track number 3 is Maniac. Track number 4 is Days Like This featuring Khalid. Track number 5 is Zulu Screams featuring Bibi Borelli and Malik Berry. Track number 6 is More. Track number 7 is Coke White / Moscow featuring Pusha T. Track number 8 is You Say featuring Jay Prince and Tyler the Creator. Track number 9 is Yard featuring Western. Track number 10 is Spanish Song featuring Wave IQ. Track number 11 is No Lie featuring WizKid. Track number 12 is Tiff Freestyle. Track number 11 is Rumble featuring Jackson Wang and Lil Nye. Track number 14 to close it all out is Swoosh. That's the thing about Goldlink. And after that we didn't talk, wasn't the longest runtime. With At What Cost, I believe it was sitting at around 50 minutes. So he's goddamn good at just making long albums, but also not really making them feel like they're long in the tooth. Like, he's really good at telling a story or getting a point across, and just making sure that he hits certain thematic cues, but not like he wants to make sure he's exploring these themes very extensively and giving his take on those. And like, he's not afraid to do it across 19 tracks, I would bet. But like, with 14 tracks, this runtime is pretty goddamn long, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. It definitely tells a really cohesive story, and definitely is again, like, he hits all these different styles, and that's what this album was most impressive to me, because as someone who really enjoys that 2013, 2014, 2015, like, SoundCloudy, just out there ass fucking Goldlink. When you get into like his albums, they've always been bangers. They've always been works of art. They've always been phenomenal, high ass quality, high fidelity. Like, he's the man. Like, he really goddamn is the man. And like, he's so like undercover with it too. Like, I don't feel like he gets the credit that he deserves as far as like making really goddamn good projects, but also just not being afraid to like go there with his music as far as like experimenting, but also staying true to like his flow and who he is. But what I have seen lost and what I've wanted more is just like more of that out there like EDM style, and like I feel like he worked that in there, not in like the dubstep-y ass way, or not like in some like EDC ass way, but literally like he hit all these different styles, whether it's going back to like that and after that we didn't talk, or it's just progressing with the At What Cost, with like getting a little bit more serious and telling like a little bit more of a like taking a little bit more of a stance on like real world topics. I feel like he does that as well on here, but also I feel like he also acknowledges his old ties to those more like electric ass sounds, and like definitely blends all of that together just perfectly on this goddamn album. So yeah, nevertheless, standout tracks for me are definitely going to be like, honestly, I'm going to give you like top tier, and then I'll shout out the other ones, because there's so many goddamn good like songs on this, and I'm telling you that the story that he tells on this just works perfectly. All the features don't feel like they're out of place. They feel like they're warranted, and also really just welcome, period. Like, it's just awesome, man. It's really goddamn good. Standout tracks though, Zulu Screams, that's like where it gets peak of like, that's the Goldlink that I miss, that's the Goldlink that I want, and that's the style that I look forward to. I also hear that a lot on Coke White / Moscow. When you look at Pusha T coming into this and then Goldlink, it almost comes across as it's like two different songs that were just blended together. It's like they almost existed separately. But if that's the case, that's almost more impressive, because the song works so goddamn good and just allows them to kind of, I don't know, play off each other without actually like being on the same parts of the song together at, I don't think, any point. Like, it's really just like Pusha goes in on Coke White, and then Moscow starts up, the beat switches into this crazy ass like piano ass like shining sample, and then just boom, Goldlink just goes off, and it's just, that's what I love, that's what I like. I'm gonna shout out Yard. That's like the most Caribbean style flair, but also like African, of course, sounding track, I feel like, as well as Spanish Song, which is track number 10. Those two songs definitely are emphasizing on that like style and like cultural reference that he's definitely been really good at just acknowledging in his past few projects, but those two definitely shine that through tenfold. But I gotta give a shout out to No Lie featuring WizKid. That shit is just fire. And also shout out to Jackson Wang and Lil Nye on track number 13, Rumble. I feel like they actually had better verses than Goldlink himself, so that's kind of impressive. But the way that No Lie plays, and like there's even like a switch up on that song, like the way that that plays out was just such a cool ass like collaboration, one with WizKid and Goldlink, but also was like a lot more aggressive and just like really adds the right amount of like juxtaposition, and just like it adds clarity to the rest of the songs that aren't as hard and not as like for me as like, you know, like Days Like This featuring Khalid. You know what you're getting into when you like hear Goldlink and Khalid are gonna work on a song, but it's not bad. It never is bad. But also I want to shout out these two. They're not like my favorites from it, but Maniac is a really good ass song. I feel like that's well written, and Joke Ting has really fun ass like parts in it where you're just like, oh no, this is a jam, this is a bop. So no matter what part of the album you're in, you're gonna enjoy yourself. The Tyler the Creator track, You Say, with Jay Prince, that's a good song. I'm not skipping it when I find myself getting from Coke White to one of my favorites, Yard, and then continuing on to get to No Lie. Like, I'm not skipping any of these songs, like Spanish Song and You Say. Like, even getting to know Rumble, I'm not skipping Tiff Freestyle when I catch myself listening to this album. Like, I'm enjoying the project itself, and that's just kind of all I can ask for. And I miss Goldlink, so this is like really refreshing hit in the face as far as being like, hey man, remember like one of your favorite fucking rappers from back in the day, and like you just kind of slept on the importance of his last album, and then just kind of, I don't know, like I'm just really happy to get this week, and really happy to enjoy it as much as I am. And as someone who's seen him live back in like and after that we didn't talk days, it's so cool to see how fucking big he got off of the crew, and just to see his potential and just how fucking good he is, and just all around talent, man. So really recommending this album. Can't recommend it enough, really. Let me know in the comment section below if you've heard it. What did you think? Let me know, and then we'll have a conversation. You can follow me on Twitter at YoGRRT, YoogRRTT, Instagram as well. Now notation on those two platforms as well. Take care of yourselves. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. For real. And that is all, folks.